Well, good afternoon on this beautiful, again, sunny day in Florida. This is Toni Weel. We have with us Sara from Virtuous Unicorns, as usually, my loving co-host. And
Thank you.
we almost have our guest, Light, with us. And yeah, I will introduce him in a minute. Guys, I have to apologize for last week's podcast. I was not feeling well that day. And I felt like I was all over the place. I could not concentrate to what I really wanted to say. And I thought I had something important to say. And when it was tried to come out, it was all a mess. So, but Sarah and that they were great, and everything was good and worked. And so my apologies. I was not feeling well at all. I had a fever, and I thought, okay, it's time to go on a water fast. My body obviously needs it. I had a lot of, well, you could say GI tract pain issues that I pretty much had my whole life, but it came out now. And I was like, okay, going on a water fast. So today is day 8 of the water fast. I used to feel great when I was, just doing all water. I gotta admit, this time it's not easy at all. I wish it was, but it's not easy. And I keep going because I feel that rest in the water is the best medicine. But for me or for everyone actually, to get the body to health. And I listened to one of the videos from Light, and he's very clear about we do not give medical information. We do not. We're not doctors or anything like that. We do not give any medical information. We are only your tour guides on your health journey. And we may, know a little bit more out of experience and what we learned from Dr. Morse and others working with him. I was this morning looking at Patty Lager's videos. They are amazing. And you can find her on YouTube, a lot of videos there. So I would like to welcome Light, who have an interesting story about how he is healing. And what I found is actually interesting. All the people that became Dr. Morse's detox specialists, health counselors, have been going through a lot of health issues themselves. And once they found out, I mean, that was it for me, and I've heard that from other counselors too. When you see how it can work for you, it's like, oh my gosh, I need to get this word out to the world. And so that was, I can see that it is the same with all those counselors. And I apologize for my voice, people. There's a lot of mucus coming out when I'm detoxing. So I sound like, I don't know, like a 90-year-old woman. It is what it is, and we do our best. So welcome, Light from, oh my gosh, see, my brain is still not what it should be. Raw something. Fibrogel.
Rob, yeah, Rob,
Fibrogel. There we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
It's like,
Thanks.
it's like our podcasts have never ever been scripted. I tried it once in the beginning, and I had
Yeah,
wrote pointers down, and I was like, no, this doesn't work. We have to go with the flow. So whatever comes out or comes up, it's all good.
yes,
Now
exactly.
you are in Hawaii, and you are on the
Yes.
big island, and you wearing a hat. Is it that cold?
Yeah, yeah, it's 7 a.m. So it's still really chilly. And I get cold pretty easily.
Yeah.
That's partially due to the fact that I've been living in the tropics for 4.5 years, or actually more like 6 years. And I've kind of reverted back to the original blueprint of being a frugivore. And then of course, like you mentioned, we all do have weaknesses. and there's different degrees at different times, uh, as we're going about our life through the years, right? So I do have still a little bit of a thyroid, a little bit of a hypothyroid, right? Which makes my extremities get a little bit colder and stuff. So there's always multiple reasons for the issues, So yeah, that's why, yeah, it's a little cold. It's Hawaii, but yeah, it's not always just sunny and people just think, oh, it's paradise. Yeah, well, the coconuts are $10 and you can get a pineapple for $18, the size of
Oh,
your hand.
no.
So it's not all rainbows and what people think, but
Well, you can at least get ripe pineapples?
I haven't had a single pineapple in yeah, almost 3 months here because yeah, the ones when I was in Kauai, yeah, like I said, they were $18 for a miniature pineapple and they're organic, but and then all the other ones are just Dole pineapples. And people they just go to Costco and they go to the farmers markets and they rip off the tag and try to sell them and pretend that it's yeah, the Big Island is not super good with the fruit, like the organic and the fruit. There is stuff, but honestly, right now there is like a little fruit shortage. It's not a great place for a fruitarian, especially if you like a lot of liquids, like me. I like to have a ton of liquids. I do like my fiber too, but I do a lot of juicing as well. So um, yeah, but I don't know, it's my first time in Hawaii, so I'm I'm not complaining. But as you go around the world, you'll see you guys know it's hard to find ripe fruit. If they pick it too early or they just leave it rotting on the shelf. It doesn't matter what country or where you're at. You have to go in knowing what you want and feeling the frequency, right? Like, oh my God, I spotted those tangelos from 20 feet away, right? Or like, oh, I could tell that jackfruit from it was just plump you know, from across the room. That's the sort of thing that Toni. It's like you know.
Yeah, I just got from someone who, and I don't know if that was a comment on a post on your website or where it was, but it was about getting fruit here in Florida. I mean, I'm in Central Florida. There should
Oh,
be fruit in abundance. I
oh
pretty
yeah.
much I'm surrounded by orange groves, and I cannot even get a Florida orange that is, that tastes well. It all goes into the juice industry. And so the oranges usually come from California, but
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
been, even the organic oranges right now, they have no taste. It's like the only thing that's actually tasty is the watermelons, and they're not even organic. They were good, and they were even seedless, and they were still tasty. And in apples, the cheapest apples I found to be to have the best taste, especially for juicing. So
Yeah.
that is then, if that is what it is, the berries have no taste. I
Uh-huh.
like to make smoothies because the frozen foods are actually picked ripe because otherwise, it wouldn't have any taste at all. So they're picked pretty ripe
Yep.
and that's still good. But even the frozen mangoes, they were always delicious. Not anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's in that way it's going downhill. I
It's
know what a good ripe mango can taste because I have a small young mango tree.
oh wow.
Only I had a neighbor stealing all my mangoes last year.
Oh no.
Yeah, that
It's
was a big thing because it is right at the street, so it's
oh
easily
yes.
accessible. And I live in an HOA community, and I think, you know what, either going to put a big net over it, or I'm gonna put all the fruits in these separate bags. They have these bags for it, so birds cannot get it, etc. And yeah, and I have just to check every day. But those were mangoes. My God, the two hands, you have one mango. They were huge and
Oh
so
wow.
juicy.
Oh,
that was the best thing ever. And I didn't even look when I bought the tree. I didn't ask, if it was organic. It was a small tree, and they planted it for me, I think 4 years ago now. But it doesn't have a lot of fruit. Maybe last year I think it was 24, but it kind of doubles every year. So,
mhm.
and I don't like pruning, so I have not, and they keep telling me you have to, and I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if you know Mariah Mrsa. She had actually she mentioned that in one of her articles that she does not prune anything, and this is her work. She is trained in that field. So I'm like, okay, if she doesn't prune it, I'm not going to do it either. I'm going to see what's happening. So yeah,
Interesting.
but I did have ripe pineapples. I just put a store-bought pineapple in a pot, and yeah, it had the first year one fruit, the second year two, and one year I already smelled it for a few days. So
Mhm.
okay, yeah, now I have to harvest it, and I was too late. It was completely empty. It was only an outer shell was still there. So critters got it, and
Oh, yeah.
that's how nature is supposed to be.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but we're
Exactly.
here to talk about what you could overcome with the things that you have been trying. I mean, you had a reason to start. What we usually see is that people come to us when the doctors say there's nothing I can do, and or they have been on so many pharmaceuticals and it's not working, and they start realizing this is not the way to go. Then then they start talking to us.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know, and that was, I mean, I never went to doctors. That was not my thing. But I did go to all the alternative ones. You have a Dr. Berg and Dr. Bergman. All such
Yeah.
great information. Medical medium at first, 18 months on celery juice. Well, that messed up the GI tract. My gosh. So it is like in Dr. Sebi, I tried so many things to, okay, this could be it. And I have to say, even in my teens, I was already all into plants and no doctors, but still I lost my gallbladder. I had an ectopic pregnancy. I had in my early 20s, paralyzed from the neck down because my body didn't agree with something I ate that I had never eaten before. You get the weirdest things that your body can do, but and you keep searching for that one answer. That one answer is like, but then you hear like, oh, but if you want to lose, I always had a weight problem. I have hypothyroid, and there's always that thing like, yeah, but you have to do this to get that result. And other than pharmaceuticals, I think I've pretty much done it all. Not the craziest fat diets because fat diets, but yeah, it's like, and then you come to, I was a raw vegan, and I was so sick, and that was like, I cannot do it any better. What else is out there? Not knowing about, a frugivore or fruitarian lifestyle. And then that is where I met Dr. Morse, and he was like, okay, leave out the fats, leave out the proteins, the plant proteins. I had a gallon of pea protein that I put in my smoothies, make it taste delicious. And that was all the wrong thing to do. And people think, well, this is what you have to do to be healthy because it's all over the place. And here we are, and we come with like, no, 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 that's not it. Well, people really believe they are on a health path, but they still have all these
Yeah.
issues and
Oh, yeah.
don't really understand why.
Yeah.
So I'll let you talk now.
Oh, no, that's no, no. I'm the same. I was, I haven't been to a doctor in I don't know, 20 years. I don't know how long. And yeah, I was always into the herbs and into nature and all that. And I like you tried almost everything. I mean, there's a few things I didn't try, but I tried quite a lot. Yeah, it's so strange how it took me so long to find Dr. Morse, but it's all divine and the way the divine order was I'm not gonna I'm not gonna try to ask questions or it's all fine the way that it worked out. Because yeah, that guy touched my life like he is just such a sweetheart and such an angel and just a total true warrior, and he's just so selfless. And yeah, and it's so simple, but that's the thing, is it's so simple that it just goes over people's heads. How can it be this simple? Well, it is. Nature is very simple, guys. You know, just look. There's peace out there, it's not that. Look at the animal, it's gonna go find the persimmon tree. It's gonna eat all the persimmons. It's not gonna eat like a 20, 25 ingredient meal. No, that doesn't happen in nature, Mono meals happens in nature. And we're frugivores, right? Because we got the paws, the pick the mango, peel the banana, pick the berries. I mean, come on. And then the teeth, and then the enzymes like we have the alkaline enzymes. We could go on and on and on. The GI tract, that's not to eat meat. So it's when you finally see Dr. Morse, you know it's it. But does that mean that it's like it's not just there? It can take years and years of work to heal, and it's just over and over. And the longer you go, it's like, yeah, it's not like you're never gonna have. It's not like you're gonna be immune to everything. You're because it's like layers and layers and layers, and that's like why you wanted to do this interview with me. It's because I got the staph, um, and I've been doing this 6.5 years, and I'm still relatively healthy, but we have layers. It's an onion, and it's always an internal thing, right? It's the inner terrain. But actually, staff thing it's like a very Hawaiian thing. Out of like everywhere I've been, this is like the number one place. Everyone gets it. Almost everybody gets it who comes here. So, especially if they're working in the garden, in the land, in the garden, and stuff like I was, um, you'll get the staff, and yeah, it's kind of an initiation. It's definitely an energetic thing, and yeah, but yeah, going back to just the gratitude for the big man, Dr. Morse, like saved my life, and he saved a lot of people's lives with his teachings and his truth. And it's really, he was really good at taking that information from Arnold Ehret and Hilton Hotima and Shelton and all that, and putting it into a uh, very understandable, very concise, very simplistic way. And it just made total sense. And I was like, I'm on board, and so thus, I've seen many people get well with all sorts of things. I healed all sorts of stuff. And then I even healed this staff with predominantly a fruit, just mostly fruits. Um, So yeah, I mean, no, fruit is too much sugar. It's gonna give you the C word. It's gonna feed your C word. Oh, the fruit, it's gonna give you the candida, more candida. And then the same thing around town. Everyone's like, oh, they're fruit phobic. They're afraid of fruit. Oh, you have staph. Oh, you better not eat that fruit. And I'm like, guys, I know what I'm talking about here. Not because I'm not not out of an ego, but guys, I know detox, and I'm going to prove it to you and show you by eating almost entirely fruit to heal this. And I took a big assortment of herbs as well. Um, yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that part of that people always say that, oh yeah, but the fruit sugar that feeds cancer. My response is always like, okay, you have cancer. how much fruit did you eat? Oh, I actually never ate fruit is usually the answer. And then how did you get cancer? I mean, how do you even link that together?
I
And
know.
that's the same with Candida. It's like the
Wow.
doctors see had that actually from an so-called alternative doctor, holistic, and he had told her, no, 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 you cannot do all fruit because that feeds the cancer. She did not have cancer, but it was like, oh, but when I'm eating fruit, I'm going to have cancer. And it's like,
Yeah.
at that point, and I did send actually this because this was a post in defense of Dr. Morse group, and I sent I think 5, 6, 7 videos by Dr. Morse where he talks about that. I sent articles about what fruit sugar is
Mhm.
and cancer, and that it absolutely there is no relation in that way that they are thinking there is. And still it was, yeah, but my so and so says that it feeds the cancer. Well, then you're done. I mean, you can give all the information, and if people don't want to see it, it's their journey. And if they don't want to open their mind and see how not logic it is actually to say that it feeds the fruit feeds the cancer, then what can we say? It's and I can describe and explain and how meat is not meant for us. There are still people that say, but we need the protein. No, we need the amino acids, and then go into that story. Yeah, but the doctors say we need the protein, and it's difficult to fight that. And you know what? That it is only in the last few years that they call meat your proteins. It's not called meat anymore.
Yeah.
Go if you listen to cooking shows or anything, or even uh, what is it? Restaurants. Choose your protein.
Right.
Then we have the list of poultry and meats and seafood, but it's called protein, so it doesn't sound so much anymore as an yeah, butchered animal, a killed
Yeah.
animal with rotting flesh. And
Right.
that is the reason it was called meat in the first place, because who wants to have flesh on their body, on their plate, It's like
Hmm.
it is, well, we live in a messed up world, and we already know that. And I think to save humanity, you could easily say we need to go the route that we are going in. So it is the education that we are doing is really a big thing. And not everybody has to become a Dr. Morse practitioner. I mean, I don't know if Katie is on, but she knows, well, a lot. And same with Sarah. I mean, Sarah has so much knowledge about this topic already that and she pays or teaches it forward. And that is what we all do, but it is really small steps. But even our spouses. Now, I have been lucky. My husband has been with me from the beginning, and he is doing the same thing, even though he's on the road 5 days a week. We
Wow.
still can be on all fruits. I mean, it's
Wow.
easily doable. And he just, he has a bag full of all kinds of fruits. And yeah, can snack on bananas, on grapes, on cherries. He has a smoothie a day, and he has his greens. So it's all possible. It doesn't matter what kind of work you do. If you're on the run the whole day, no, make your stuff the night before. It's doable. And but I'm still, I have to say, I'm still curious in so actually, how did that feel? I mean, you were going to SARS, and I hear people have been died from it. I mean, my neighbor across the street, he got it in a hospital, usually the case, and he eventually he had it a few times. Eventually, he died. but it's you went on the all fruit, but how long did it take you?
Yeah, yeah. So this is definitely not medical advice because it can get serious if you, especially if it's swollen, if it's really painful, if it's really red and it's oozing and oozing pus a lot, stuff like if it's not getting better, you would know. So if it's not getting better, you know what? Like I said before on my video on my YouTube, um, you know what? If you never use antibiotics, and this is the one time, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. I don't want to mess up my microbiome. I don't. I did not want to do it. But it took me, I don't know, 50 days, 50 something days. Yeah, to get rid of it. I I was working on a farm and it kept popping up and yeah, it's usually I'm usually like to have my food from the farmer's market with a little bit of dirt on it, not super sanitized, so I can have that microbiome, like that cellular communication and all those microbes and stuff. Like I rarely wash my hands, but in this instance with staph, you want to wash your hands, you want to like wash your clothes and like you want to be like hygienic when you have the staph. And I just wasn't I wasn't able to like keep up with it because I kept getting like I had like a total of 15 or 16 different areas on my feet, a few on my hands too, just tiny ones, just even you get a little tiny scratch and then it just turns into like 1,000 times the pain of what it normally would be and starts pussing and oozing. But yeah, I had some pretty big ones too, and yeah, I would have healed it a lot quicker if I was going to water fast. But honestly, I didn't have the discipline to do a long water fast. B, I was working on a farm, and C, I was having to leave that farm because it was just because a lot of issues, and they didn't have a room for me anymore for some reason. So yeah, it was a lot. If I had a lot of stress for a while, and I had to get this nice little posh little spot here, and and just focus on the healing, and yeah, it rapidly healed. Yeah, and like I said, like yeah, I could have just water fasted or done a few day dry fast. I do not condone long-term dry fasting. I have done long dry fasts, but I don't support those any longer. I've known too many people. I've met too many people who have died from that. Um, but yeah, I was trying to show people that the fruit will even heal the staph. So that's why it kind of took longer and than it could. Yeah, so all those factors combined. I actually went to Florida for the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and I just came back, and I got a cut on my foot in Florida, and nothing came up. And then I came back here, I got a cut on my foot, and nothing came up. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Whatever you had to detox back then, you actually did.
Yeah,
You say
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's like you couldn't do a water fast, but that you were able to, despite the pain, that you could do this, go through with this for 50 days. It,
It, it
and
wasn't that. It wasn't so much. It wasn't always painful or anything. It was just more annoying because each time you get a cut, I would put things on it topically, but really it's not a topical thing. As you know, it's an internal thing. But still, you wanna um, and I'm not big on band-aids either, but because there was like flies and there was other people around and because I'm wearing clothes and stuff, and I don't want like the pus to get on my clothes because it was cold sometimes or rainy. So then I was putting band-aids on and stuff. So it was a big pain in the butt to like, okay, wow, like three of these things are almost totally healed, and then like they're totally healed, and then new ones were kept popping up, and it was like, you know, all like three times a day I'm having to address the wounds, and you know, clean them up and all this, and with just the stress, and then all these other people around at a farm, which I'm not going to be working at or trying to be in any communities anymore. I'm going to have my own land, not my land, but I'm going to going back to my original goal is going around this world looking for land, my land next to my friend's land. That's my original goal. Because less crazy, you know, less stuff can happen than being in a dogmatic community with where there's you know hierarchy and things like that can definitely happen down the line. And so yeah, all these things. It would have been a lot different if I was just like, oh, in this sweet place, and then I got the staff, and it would have been totally different. But yeah, like I said, there was a lot going on, and I had just moved from Bali. I lived in Bali, Indonesia, for three of the last 4 years, so it was a big change for me to move to Hawaii. And yeah, so
You would probably have healed a lot faster if you didn't have any stress.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
because that is, and I talk about that a lot. That is what I see with a lot of people. If they do everything right, you know, the water, the dry fats, the juices, the herbs, everything, and they have so much stress in their life, keep going to doctors and they're not healing. And it's like you got to enjoy your life. I mean,
Yes.
this is not what life is supposed to be, but we are, so many of us, especially actually the younger people. I mean, I don't have to work if I don't want to. Well, if I want to have an income, I do, but my age-wise, it's like I don't have all that stress, you know. My daughter is long gone. I have a granddaughter, and
Mhm.
so there is, I don't really have stress, so I have no excuse. But
Mhm.
I see people, you know, they have their work, their kids have after school things to do, and so much going on. And I admire the ones who can still find the time for themselves. And you know what it is? There's always, we tend to always say, and I don't do it anymore. It's like, no, it's ridiculous to say the words, I do not have the time. I hear my husband saying it, and I'm like, yes, you do. You know, he can. We have, you know, he's only work at home a little time after work, but then we have motorcycles, and yeah, I have no time to ride. It's like, well, you've been sitting here playing with your a game on your phone, so don't tell me you don't have the time. You make priorities, you know, and but what I want to say is that take the time for yourself. If it cannot be an hour, then and make it half an hour. If it cannot be that, make it 15 minutes. But those 15 minutes are all yours. Nobody can come in that. And if it cannot be in the outside, you know, then okay, do it in your bedroom. Have music on you love, dance, whatever it is, but it has to be for you. And that is, you know, and gratefulness. I am every night, every morning, you know, it's like I'm very consciously grateful. I can, you know, and so much so that it's, you know, I'm tearing up. And if we don't have that and we only see the problems in our lives, we're not healing. We're not there for our body. It's like, you know, you've been using this body and expecting it to do whatever you want it to do. And I've been like that. I mean, I've always had my own business. I never had a job because I knew that was absolutely not gonna work. That hierarchy that you just mentioned that you can have in communities, well, you definitely have that at work. And for me, being at the top didn't work because I treated everybody the same, and they were not used to that. And so no, I've never been an employee. But
Mm.
having your own business, that meant a lot of work and a lot of stress. So, but I took it all for granted until you come to a certain age that your body said, okay, I give you all these signs and you're not listening. Now I'm going to
Yeah.
give you something that, you're down. You're down for weeks. So
Yeah.
yeah, I had, what is it called? Lower back hernias. Well, I can tell you, you're not doing anything when you have that.
Oh no.
So I had certain things that would absolutely slow me down. And the worst one was actually when I came to the United States, 2000, 2000 for the first time. I had a lot of vaccinations. I got into a really, really abusive marriage, and it was all stress. And I got sick, and it was like, okay, you're still trying, and that is what I hear people say. Yeah, but if I am on all fruit, I'm so tired. That is your body telling you that now it needs you to rest so it can do its work. But not everybody can do that.
I
I
know.
mean, I can do it, but what if you have
I
to be at
know.
work at 8 o'clock because otherwise, eventually you don't have a roof over your head or you can even buy the fruits.
I
So it is
know.
a difficult life. That is why I'm saying how important it is to take that little time just for you and realize everything happens for a reason. It's not just out of the blue or, why, you have people, why me? That is, there's a reason for that. There's something, you need to learn something or somebody else needs to learn something. And then I have this attitude, it will all be okay. Now, if the day that I would die and would I would I have even before that, be able, well, it's meant to be. It's all good. And, I know it's difficult. I cannot say I fear that, but I don't want to. And people around me, and you may not know my age, but coming March 16, I'm going to be 72. And I
Wow.
always say I am forever 38. So stick with that. Because once you start realizing, and I have to admit, it do creeps in at times, that what age I am. It's like I would like to do certain things, but am I doing it? No, no, let's not do that. Like moving to a place where you have 10 acres and you can start your fruit farm. And then I have to stop myself, It's like, no, that age that they gave it to us, we can be as energetic, as healthy as we choose to be. And then you get to another topic is people realizing why are they sick? And yeah, to realize, yeah, it's genetics. Yeah, I wasn't born healthy. And I work with an MS person, and we just did the a very in-depth iridology analysis. And you can see it's no wonder that he has MS, that would be just a given almost. And when you look at that, a lot for him was genetics, and it's like, okay, here comes another topic. Well, it is genetic, so there's nothing I can do. And yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. It doesn't mean like, okay, now, it's over for me. I better, this is it. It's like there is only one way to go, and that is what Dr. Morse, describes us. It is a healing journey, and it's not for everyone the same because you just mentioned people dying. I mean, we have Hilda Larson. We don't know exactly why, but there was a lot going on. It was actually mentioned to me what exactly it was, but since they didn't make it public, it's not up to me. Yeah, some people go really deep with their dry fast. Dr. Morse said 36 hours is maximum. And if I mention that in one of the groups, I always get these returns. Oh, I did a whole week and it's a piece of cake. And it's like, go away.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and we have to be careful, not
Yeah.
everybody can do that.
No, 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 no,
And
no.
and I know there are breatharians, and what I learned from following them, because I think it is an absolute, totally interesting topic, that there is a point that we may not even need, or in the way we past ever have needed food the way we are doing it now. And I don't believe the whole food thing has never been as bad as it is now, you know. Every celebration, it's about food. You feel bad, it's about food. You feel happy, oh, it's about food. It's always about food. There's a restaurant, you know, there are more restaurants than anything else. First thing in the United States, it was in 81. I was in South Dakota in Deadwood. And absolutely loved it there, the Black Hills. And I it was my first time I got into this huge grocery store. And there was all foods that I didn't even recognize. It was all, you know, it was there was no food. There was no fruit. And I wasn't even, you know, I didn't even know about us being frugivores. So it is like this is what it has to be, you know. It's like, yeah, we can go into what another would call conspiracy theories, but let's not.
Yeah, no,
It's
no.
it's really sad that it had been, you know, going this way, and now we have to tell people it is so easy. Once you are on this route, you realize breakfast, lunch, dinner. What do you mean? You eat a little, you know, hell, I don't eat before noon. Usually, I have water, and I may make some herbal tea, and then yeah, 12, 1, 2, let's eat some fruit, and then maybe 6, 7 o'clock again. And don't even your mind is not set on all fruit. So when I say people to people, it becomes easier. That is my experience. How's that with you?
What is the question?
It is like when you are doing this longer, it becomes easier.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not you're not about all these meals anymore. It's like, oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, what am I gonna eat? The hunger is going away.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's no actual hunger for me ever. I've never had true hunger. Yeah, and it's less and less and less. Because my body my metabolism with all of the juice fasting, all of the water fasting, all of the fasting and all that. Yeah, you get so efficient, right? And so yeah, like you said, you don't really require much food at all. At first, you're gonna want to eat a lot more, most most people. But yeah, it's all a mental thing, right? It's the emotions still will. I mean, I still eat cooked food like sometimes. Yeah, if I can't get good fruit, of course, I'll eat cooked food. I keep it light and clean, and but for the most part, yeah, it gets easier. It just becomes embedded in you. It's just for me, I'm 95% mono meals. That's just what I do. That's how I feel the best. I appreciate it, the simplicity, and I'm always traveling, so I like to just get out into a park or get out onto the beach and then just compost my fruit into the bushes, and it's a beautiful thing, and you just simplicity, like just simplicity is all. It's all it really is, and you've got the two worlds kind of right now. We've got this old world, the slave system, the inserts and the parasitic, the fake sources that have been embedded into humanity, right? And then we have the one true source and the one uh, this new world this new earth that has been beginning, and they're both right up against each other. So it's been a very uncomfortable time energetically and spiritually and all that mentally, definitely. Um, to see these two worlds, but it's a choice, and you can revert back to Eden, back to the way that it should be. Or if you want to do the breatharian thing, cool. But you know what? You better be cycling up your seed. You better not be shooting out you're not ejaculating every day. You better be circulating your seed, breathing it up to your brain, breathing that sexual energy throughout your body, and you better be getting in the sun like 10 hours a day like I do, uh, getting the sun, getting the fresh air, and consciously getting that prana. Although, guys, I'm not a breatharian, it's not my path, but I have scratched the surface of it. It is definitely, I agree with you. It's a real thing. I don't think it's my thing though. I like to fast and I like to eat. I like both. So yeah.
Yeah, I like to eat too, but the thing is that making choices sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
if I wouldn't have to eat, I would be okay with it. Yeah, that would not be a problem. There are other things that you can put your energy
Mm.
towards too. So
Mm.
I have to, Sarah, I'm not ignoring you. He's still there.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah. They're highlight. I'm Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns.
Hey,
Um,
Sarah.
I'm so happy to have you here. Appreciate you coming on our show.
Yeah, thanks for
Um,
having me.
yeah, I did have I don't know where we were in the conversation, but I think it's when we were talking about stress.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you've ever listened to our stuff before, but I do try to follow the Bible and doing the decodes and stuff like that. And there's a part where it says that basically we shouldn't stress about anything. There's definitely like if you just cast your net to the right and you just trust in God, you trust in the plan, you're exactly where you're supposed to be every moment of the time, every moment of the day. It doesn't matter what time or what kind of outcome there is when you're with that person or a group of people. Everything comes from some kind of learning experience. And even any experience, I mean, I was kind of getting at that there was a bad experience that you had in that area that you removed yourself from, but you learned something from it for sure. And there was people there that learned something from it too, even if it may not appear they did. So everything happens exactly how it's supposed to happen. And as you
Hmm.
see that your body is a miracle, and with the helps of some of the herbs that, God has provided for us and the fruits and stuff, our bodies are able to perform the miracles. I still am in the matrix every day, and it is very hard to walk both lines, but I don't know how to do it another way at this point. I'm very much trying hard to do it another way. But when you are saying, like, this is what Toni was saying about like going to basketball, going to school, going to sports, things like that, you just got to find the calm in all those moments and
Yeah.
in all those stressful moments. Every time I
Hmm.
would walk into corporate America, which I fortunately don't have to do that anymore, I felt like I
Hmm.
was going to prison. Like it felt horrible, even though I worked with amazing people. I've always had like this, it was always a nice job, but it still felt like prison. It felt like I should not be there.
Hmm.
Um, but you just got to find the calm in all of that and trust the plan and look for those doors to open for you and watch for God to move those mountains. And when you do, great. Today I was driving home from dropping my son at school. We had the most beautiful, the sun was starting to come up. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, that's when I spent my time with God saying, look what you created here. This is so amazing, so beautiful. Even though I was coming home to start to get to work and do all this other stuff, and I had a million things racing in my head. You always just got to find that center, that calm, and make God and Jesus your friend. And when you do all that, no matter where you are, you can find the calm in the stress. And always trust that they already know exactly what you need and it will be laid out in front of you as long as you live your life virtuously and you stop sinning. And sin, a lot of people think is like, you're sinning against the commandments, but sinning is just having negative thoughts and doing stuff like that. You just got to start having the positive thoughts and don't hate people for what they do or anything like that. Yeah, of course, hate the action, but stand in your truth. And if you can do all that, you can find, again, the calm. And of course, like you said, the sunlight, walk barefooted outside, hug your trees, love your animals. Yeah, I always laugh too. Like, I don't wash my hands. I have a horse. I'll come in and I'll eat and all this other stuff. But then like if I'm out in public, then I'll come home and be like, ooh, now I feel dirty.
Yeah.
When I'm out in the woods or I'm out with nature, I don't feel dirty at all. And it just, it's so calming and just life is wonderful and life is great. And you just gotta really enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
was,
meant
I
to.
didn't get to talk for a whole 45 minutes. So
Oh yeah,
just
no, I was
kidding.
wondering
I just kidding.
who that person who was up there in that box up there.
The
All right.
unicorn.
Thank you for finally introducing yourself.
Yay.
And where are you at?
I'm in Ohio,
Oh,
so
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
landlocked, but I love I love farms, I love the forest, I love all that kind of stuff, but I do love the ocean so much too, and it calls to me and I do have to try to go see it a few times a year, so
Hmm.
yeah. Hawaii
Yeah.
though, I don't know if I'll make it all the way out there. I'm not a big fan of flying. But maybe I'll take a boat.
Yeah, right.
And not too fond of spiders and stuff, but I don't know if that's really a myth or not. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah. The spiders haven't been too bad for me. Just
That's good.
yeah, the wildlife. I mean, the ocean has like tiger sharks and yeah, like great whites and stuff. So I don't really go too far into the ocean, but I think the land is pretty tame down
Yeah.
here, except for the
I've
snake.
been I've been trying to make friends with the spiders and the snakes, but I don't want, I just tell them like, hey,
Yeah, don't sleep with
don't
me.
surprise me.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Toni and I had that conversation that other time where, I forget exactly how it went, but it was like, the more high vibration you become, the more animals just always come around to you. And I haven't had meat and I can't even count how many years. It's been so many years, like that more than a decade. I have had
Wow.
like breads and cheeses and stuff like that. I was vegetarian for a long time, but even that's been a long time too. I am lying when I say bread though. Like I did have some bread not too long ago and
Oh,
I'm a big the first bite's great. And then the
oh yeah.
second bite, it's not so good. So I think it's
Yeah.
like you eat with your memories
Oh yeah.
and then it sets in. You're like, that was not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh. It is good. But so yeah, you when you had your staph infection, did it where all did it get on your face or anything like that too?
No, it was on my feet, it was
Mm-hmm.
on my ankles, it was on my shins, on my knee, and and then I got one tiny one on my thigh, and
Oh,
I got a few, like two or three really tiny ones on my hands. Well, actually, one
nice.
big one on my hand, finger.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
And
probably gonna have a few scars, but it's
yeah.
okay. That's all
And
right.
how's your kidney function? Are your kidneys filtering
Mm.
properly and everything well?
Yeah, yeah, they were filtering like a champ. Like
Good.
I didn't have access to Dr. Morse's herbs, but I had access to a whole slew of the herb farm,
Mm-hmm.
the tinctures from Oregon, those guys, and
Mm-hmm.
I just blasted the tinctures and some capsules and wild oregano oil and yeah, I was watching my urine in a glass jar,
Yeah.
just just so much mucus. It was great.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cool to see it. Like when it comes out and you see
Right.
it. Like
Yeah.
I forget who said it, but it's when you do it and you get
Yeah.
to see it firsthand and feel it.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
neat. What were you eating during this time? I know you said you're doing mono, but were you kind of to stick into one thing like grapes and melons, or what were you sticking to at that time?
Um, I was doing mostly citrus juice and sugarcane juice,
Mm,
ginger and turmeric juice. Um, Yeah, I was mostly doing liquids and then having a dinner of like usually like nori wraps, like zucchini noodles
Mhm.
with tomatoes and just cilantro and just things like that. And then like once a week or so, I like um, would have taro, which is it's like a
Mhm.
root. Yeah, some people don't know taro. It's like a root, a Hawaiian root. I would have little taro, cooked taro, or cooked sweet potato or something like that, or some collard greens cooked, or some even quinoa because it's kind of the best grain to eat, I think. 'Cause it's really a seed, right?
Mhm.
And but mostly I don't know, 98% raw,
Yeah.
and mostly liquids. I did 7 days of juice there. It wasn't enough. It wasn't like I was stressed. It was
Right.
just these situations
The environment.
the environment was stressful. Yeah. And then, yeah, nothing against the farm that I worked at as well. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a lot going on. And, yeah, yeah. And
Hmm.
hit the tinctures. I hit like I said, I did a lot of Spillantes. I love Spillantes. If you guys have,
I do not know what that is.
oh, you got to try it. The first time I tried this plant, it was in Costa Rica, and you just pick the flower, and you eat it, and it gives your mouth like a numbing, like it buzzes your mouth. It's
Oh, wow.
incredible. It's sort of like the prickly ash, what the prickly ash does.
No, I've
Uh,
never had that either.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I was able to get these mostly single herb things like
Okay.
astragalus and prickly ash and yeah, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of
Yeah.
elderberry. Yeah, so
What about water? Were you taking in large sums of water at that time? And if so, what kind?
um, I was taking in v- barely any water at all
Okay.
because I was usually getting, well, for some of the time, I was getting 6 liters a day of juice. And
Yeah.
but then the fruit and the juices kind of, like I said, it's not always very abundant here with the
Right.
fruits. So yeah.
Yep. I've said it a million times now probably, but I'm a terrible water drinker and I've really tried hard to get better at it, but it's still just not coming for me. It is a daily struggle to get my water in, but I can tell you right now that when I do get my water in,
Mhm.
there is a difference there. And we did a show with Lauren Whiteman, who runs the Raw Key, and she focuses on like the real diets and stuff for your animals. But we had her
Mhm.
on when she talked about water and she talked about distilled water and the importance of distilled water, how it has nothing in it. Therefore, if it has nothing in it, a lot of things can attach it and then carry it out for you through your kidneys. And she stressed the importance of getting so much water in before you even break your fast during the day.
Mhm.
Um, and that was a game changer to me. And I still struggle though, but since I've been trying to do it before I start my orange juice, because orange juice, I could live off that stuff. And I've been
Yeah.
trying to we fresh squeeze oranges every day and we get our juices in. And then I try to move over to actually even eating oranges then, as if I didn't
Yeah.
just have enough.
Yeah.
And then I love to do some grapes and then like a salad in the evening. But a lot of times though, actually this last week, we've been skipping dinner and we haven't even been eating at night. The sun's been really shining here and it feels like we're going into early spring. So we've just been full of energy and loving it. But the water though, on that, removing those toxins out of your body, especially when you're going through the MRSA, or not MRSA, the staph, I'm wondering how that might have played into that as well too. But
Well, I was
I don't
getting,
know.
I mean, 6 liters a day is quite a
Yeah,
lot. And
that
that,
is,
and I prefer to have coconut water and fruit and vegetable water.
yeah.
Because I really don't think that distilled water or spring water gets to the cells. It really doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't get to the cells. It doesn't actually hydrate you. Yeah, it hydrates you in a way, but it really doesn't hydrate you in any
Well,
other way.
I don't look at it as a hydration. I look at it as a removing of the
Cleansing.
toxins.
Yeah,
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 the
yeah,
cleansing. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so
totally.
washing out basically.
Yeah, when there's times when I was getting less juice, and there was times like I was drinking water. It was filtered rainwater. I
Mm,
was drinking it with like as for tea when I was making like some really, really gross tea. But it was
mm,
really potent, powerful tea from Bali that I brought.
yeah.
Yeah, really, really good for. So yeah, I was doing that. Yeah.
And how are you filtering your rainwater?
That was just at the farm. I don't, they had a process for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something I've been very curious in doing. We have at our barn is a metal roof. And so
Hmm.
capturing the rain from there and then cycling it through just a regular filter and then running it through my Berkey. And then I have used it to wash my hair, but I have not collected enough to actually drink. I did drink some of it, but it wasn't enough. But I did use it to like, I shouldn't say wash my hair, but I was using it to kind of like wet my hair with to see what it was, the difference between, what comes out of your shower versus that. So yeah, that's one of
Yeah,
my journeys I would like to really get into this summer is the filtration of rainwater.
that would be, yeah, yeah. I would definitely really make sure that you're filtering that thing to the T, just because of the things that are in the skies and floating
Hmm.
around. And yeah, yeah, that was
Yeah.
definitely a concern of mine. But
Oh yeah.
they were filtering it, so I was like, all right,
All right, let's see.
you can only, we
Yeah.
can only do our best. I mean,
Yeah, we can only do the best with what we have available to us and just go from there. But I love using myself as a known experiment and I am not a doctor. And Tony, you definitely, we always say we're definitely not. These are just our experiences and what we do and what we've learned through Dr. Morse. And I always recommend for people to reach out to Tony or other practitioners. So I love this journey and I love life. So,
yeah,
yeah.
life
Well,
is
I
good.
know that we're at the hour. I don't know, Tony, are you still there too?
Of course I'm still
Okay.
here.
Yes.
I thought it's about time I'd be quiet for a few minutes.
Ah. Yeah.
But I want to say something about that
Yeah.
water, and it's not going into the cell, no, but it gets, there's more than just the cells. And I can tell you, if I do not drink enough water, I wake up with cramps in my legs. And I hear of a lot of people who say, yeah, I have these cramps in my legs. And how much water are you drinking? Oh, barely. Well, start drinking water. And I was like, okay, it worked. The same with headaches. People have headaches. Drink a glass of water. Headache is gone. Lower back pain. Same thing. My husband has a lot of lower back pain, and you would say that his kidneys should be all working well, but like we say, it's a journey. It takes time, and it always happens when he did not drink enough water. He drank a lot of fruit juices, not enough water. Constipation, start drinking with enough water. And I keep stressing it. It's not only my only experience, my own experience only. It's a lot of other people too. And I know there's a lot, yeah, we don't need water. We only need the H3O from fruit. And that's where I made a big mistake. And I was by, having what you just said, you have 6 liters of fruit juices. Who needs water? And so I didn't use the water. Well, I got bad constipation, I got bad night cramps. And even now, being on a water fast, I still don't drink enough. It kind of makes me nauseous to drink that much. But every night I have these cramps again. So I can see where the water is important for us.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
I
definitely.
just, and when there's another thing, and you may have experienced it too, people always want to ask you about testimonials. And of course, it helps having you on here that you can tell your story. But people want to hear that others were successful before they start themselves. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you are your own success, you can prove it to yourself. somebody can tell you, like, it's the same as with the MS. I do have a client who healed herself from MS. She was a dancer,
Nice.
and she got MS, ended up in a wheelchair, and we got to talk. And she started the whole, well, protocol program, and I didn't hear from her until it was, I don't even know if I connected with her or she with me. It was a year later, and she said, she was the all or nothing person. Well, not everybody is like that. I'm not like that. And she just was stuck with all, or stuck with, how do you say that? Well, she stayed with all fruit, and she was dancing again, and she was
Wow.
doing competition, and
Oh my
I think
gosh.
even teaching dancing. So we know it is
Yep.
possible, but we are all at different levels in our health, and
Yep.
we
Yep.
have different lifestyles, we have different lives, with the stress that we mentioned before. And for some people, it is not easy to get there. She didn't even do a transition time. I took well, I see my time with following what's his name, medical medium, as a transition time until Dr. Moore. Then I could go straight into fruit. But it there can be 100, testimonials when people say that they healed their, what, and then you start doing it, but for you it's different. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did have a client who didn't heal from it. Was it too late for her? Was she too worried? She went to the doctor pretty much every week to get new blood tests. Well, there's another thing, and I actually heard Lauren Whiteman say that, and that was from, what is it, Rocky, I think, Rocky.com. And she said the blood belongs in your body. You don't have blood to give away. So, then you can wonder, if you have these many blood tests, um, would it stop your healing? I mean, I haven't asked Dr. Morse either, but he probably has an idea about that. But it just doesn't make sense. Your blood does belong in your body. If it needs to come out because you have a big cut, then whatever needs to come out will come out. And that, I heard you say that in your video. It's all, what we do is all about empowering people, empowering ourselves and empowering people. And it does not matter how somebody else did, actually. Just, when you learn, get Dr. Morse's book, watch our videos, watch his videos. It's even more important. It's drmorse.tv.
Yes. Yes.
And you can use the search function. The Dr. Robert Morse and the group has a search function. It has, what was it now? I think 41.7 members in there. 41,700 members. And there is a ton of information. And I even did a video tour of the group, so you know where to go, what to see. The
Mhm.
information is out there. And
Yes.
I see when you keep putting hurdles up, like, yes, but that means you're not committed to yourself yet.
Yeah.
It's like, go for it, try it. You want to do it a week, do it. I mean, but if somebody does it for 2 months and then says, well, I start feeling weak, so I better go back to the proteins. Like, okay, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, we let go. That's another thing that we have to do. Sometimes we have to let go. But yes, we are here to empower you, empower ourselves, learn, teach, whatever we can do to help you move forward. So I want to thank you, Light. I love the name Light.
Thank you, Tony.
Good name to have. I am Light. When I saw that, it's like, and at first I didn't even notice. I was like, oh, it's saying I am light. And I thought that was so beautiful. So thank you for being here. We can have you on more often if you like to. If you say we have a certain topic, I would like to dive in with you. We are here. We're doing this every week. We have been doing it for years now. And so far, not yet an intention to stop it.
Nope,
And
not yet.
Yeah, much love to you, and yeah, thank you for
Yes.
being here.
Thank you so much, Light. We really appreciate
Yeah.
you coming and sharing
Thank,
your story with us.
thank you so much for having me, guys. I appreciate it. And thank you, Toni, for keeping the Dr. Morse, routing the people to the DR Morse TV thing, because yeah, like people need to be able to find this, you know?
We have to. We really
We have to.
the world
We're
needs it.
responsible. We have to,
Yeah.
you know?
And I have your information is at the bottom. You're not at the bottom, but I have the links for Sarah and for you at the bottom of the description, so you are easy to find.
Okay.
I put your Facebook link there, and from there people can go to your website, and I know your services are there. So for whoever wants to work with light, then there you go. So thank you, and of course, thank you, Sarah, my beautiful
Thank-
co-host. And we
thank
will meet in life one day.
One day.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
you like the beach, you come to Florida, I'm here.
All right. Sounds
Absolutely.
good. Uh,
Same for you, Light. I mean, we have a beautiful room for people who want to stop by and
oh, thank you.
stay for a few days. So that
Oh,
would be nice.
oh, wait, don't be careful when you say you have a mango tree and you say you have a room.
Yeah,
Careful,
well,
these vegetarians.
I don't even know what season exactly it is. It's summer before they, we
Yeah.
have the fruits. This one at least. I need more. I also have a papaya tree, and
Oh,
what was this? Dragon fruit. I have another cactus with fruit. I don't even know the name of that one. We had a banana tree for 2 years without any bananas, but it should have those vanilla ice bananas. Nothing yet, nothing yet, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe it needs a little bit more love.
mm,
So it will do its best. And everybody else, thank you for being here. And I would say
yes.
till the next time, much
Okay.
love to everybody.
Be
Bye-bye.
well, guys. Bye bye.